Yeah, we're back again. And in case you're watching us on Facebook, we'll be coming back. We'll be showing you back in some minutes the first part of the interview, and we'll be coming back to the second part soon. Just stay tuned. We're gonna be live again with you. We're coming back. We're gonna be coming back on Facebook. One, two, three, go! So we're back again. I think we exhausted our time on Instagram earlier. So,
all right, that's okay.
So we're just gonna make use of the few minutes we have again. I know you're a busy man. If you're not in the studio, you're somewhere else. And for the fans on Facebook, we're very, very sorry. And for the fans on Instagram, you know, we're used to it. We know how it goes. And we're playing strictly African music today. And we're celebrating a young legend. I call him a young legend because if you lead that band with a trumpet, for me, you're already a legend because your kind of music is rare. I say it again and again. There's just two people who could wow me with such a music, which is you, Huge Masekela, Sheun Kuti, Femi Kuti. Those are the let's say three of you now. The living one, the living legend is what we should be counting now. You, Sheun, Femi Kuti, and some other more that I've not been able to discover. But I'm glad I'm knowing you. So, a fan just asked on Facebook right now and said, when are you visiting Germany the next time?
I think we're currently working on a tour now. Hopefully, we're meant to be back on the road from October. But I think I'll be playing in, you know, there's this venue called the Yam in Berlin.
The Yam in Berlin. I'm going to be there tomorrow. We're playing some Afro stuff over there tomorrow.
Cool. So we're actually
Yam is
2021.
You're home. Let's say you're home. You're going to be playing at home. Just take it like that.
Okay, I'm coming home, man.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, for the fans on Facebook, we're just letting you know, you will be coming. After the pandemic, we have a lot of people coming all over to Yam, to Columbia Theater, Columbia Halle, Astra, and O2 World. It seems we're still going to be pulling up show this year. So let's continue with our guests. What is your next project? What project you have?
Well, I have, I think I'm ready to shoot 2 more albums, but not like right away because we're still we just released this one, Africa Today. Yeah. But I'm gonna be collaborating with some bands in Europe also before the next album comes out, hopefully next year. I think basically it's all like the songs are written. Like I said, you know, I have songs already ready to make up to 2 albums actually. You see,
I know.
songs because I rehearsed with the band. Even during the pandemic, we rehearsed once a week, just to get ready because we need to be prepared for the opportunities coming after the pandemic. You see, so yeah, just I think I'm ready for another album. Ready, which will come next year. But for now, we should focus on this album, Africa Today. See,
Africans today, I believe the world is going to accept it with both hands, because for me, it tripped me, it thrilled me. I didn't know when I finished a full bottle of cognac and a cigar in my hand, just listening to that album. I don't know how it happened. That's why I was so flabbergasted and saying, wow, I didn't know the young generation would come over and play such a music, amazing music you're doing. We've got Dr. Fatuki all the way from Berlin. I greet you, brother. It's one of our Yoruba presenter, and people from the Nigerian embassy. I've seen Mekudi. I've seen Iyaike Lawrence. My brother, I'm still in that person. I need to talk to that man. There's a lot of we have to do together. So I have a question. I have a lot of rap artists who are the main root rap artists.
That's right.
For me, a good rapper, a root rapper plays nothing but jazz, and he raps on nothing but jazz. Are there any individual artist you're dreaming or planning of making anything with?
Well, yes, but maybe about the dead, but I know they're not dead. Like their legacy still lives. Tupac, or definitely Tupac, but Tupac is, yeah, you understand. Yeah, but I think presently the people who, Kendrick Lamar is a great one for me. I love his music so much. Also, people like Angelique Kidjo, very great people. These are great people already. Um, I think I'm good to go with what comes, because I also see it as a form of cultural exchange as well. Yeah, but Kendrick Lamar for me is number one on my list right now. Angelique Kidjo, Beyonce as well. So those three are actually on my list for now.
Great. Because I have this young guy over here. For me, he was the first guy that could make any cover from Kendrick Lamar that you just made sure that I was thinking it was Kendrick Lamar that was singing. If not, and that was how I got to come closer to this guy. I got to know him. This was 10 years ago.
Wow.
I got to know him, and I'm happy the day I met him, the video I shot for him is the song is the title of his first album. So I got to release it out. I think it's called How Far. It goes by the name Rapturous Apollo Hilos.
Yeah.
And he happens to also be a Nigerian, but most people doesn't know he's a Nigerian. He plays in the Yam. He has his own, like you. Every Tuesday he's doing a lot of things.
Oh, nice.
The first time he heard one of your songs, the next thing that came out, he has never done it before, was to hook me up. And I'm glad that you open up for the youth and the up and coming artists also, because for me, you're my James Brown right now, if you don't know. So I'm glad that you open up for the up and coming artists here in Europe. And I believe most of them now should know. I'm just making it a task for them. They should know. They should go and study music and come back. We will do a lot with them. Because somebody like you know the in and out of music. So the project now that we're promoting for everybody is this brand new one. So tell us about this brand new one.
Well, the album was recorded 2019 in Netherlands with the record label Night Dreamer from the UK. So recorded at the Alton Studio in Haarlem in Netherlands. The album is actually the direct to discs. So the old-fashioned way of recording, you know, like they used to record in the 60s, you know, where you just play straight into the discs, straight into the vinyl. It's not easy, you know, so it's a big deal for me. Not every musician can do that up today, actually, because people are so used to the digital way of recording, actually. You see, so I've experienced the digital form of recording. I've experienced analog and recording direct to discs now, and making it on just one take and just one day, recording an album in a day, and also recording with musicians from all over the world. I had one of my band members from Lagos, and then I had some of my friends from the UK. I had some of my friends from Netherlands. I had one from Spain as well. You know, and then we had 3 days of intense rehearsals, and we recorded on the last day, you know, the album on a take, just one take. You know, I don't think people can. Well, anyways, it's a big deal, and that's
just one person have been able to do that thing you're trying to say, one take. From the modern generation artists we have in Nigeria presently, Tenny Entertainer has been able to do one take in my present, and everybody she's worked with, they call her one take queen. So you're the one take king. Anyway, that's why you just have to. You're a genius, man. You're a genius.
Thank you. And I'm so humbled. So yeah, recorded the album with Night Dreamer. So let me tell you just briefly about Night Dreamer. So I have a friend whose name is Stephen Bud. I think Stephen Bud is a guy well known in the music industry, you know. Is very credible as well. You know, I think I met Stephen Bud in London, I think 2018, I can't remember, but so I was meant to actually guest and featured on Seun Kuti's show at the Walthamstow Garden Festival in London. I think Stephen Bud also was part of the production team, or, you know, is always involved with the Fela Kuti and all that. So we met there at the backstage. Then we exchanged contacts. We started talking. So when I started my club, I told Stephen Bud, and he said, "Yo, I'm going to be in Lagos on Tuesday." You know, I was like, "Wow, you're going to be in Lagos?" Yeah. He said he's traveling to Nigeria and all that. So I said, "Okay, I play on Tuesday." So then I haven't started playing on Tuesday, but because I wanted Stephen Bud to come with me play with my band, and I never knew it was coming with a friend who's the owner of the record label Night Dreamer. So they came to the club. We were ready on stage. We started playing, and I think they liked it so much, you know. So they sent me a message after the gig saying we should have a meeting, you know, talk about ideas and all that. So we went to Victoria Island. We had that meeting, and that gave birth to the recording. Actually, the record deal came from that. So I was prepared for the record deal. So we released the record 19th of June this year, 2020, and I think it's doing really great in Europe, America, and the UK. Also, I think my fans in Lagos, my fans in Nigeria are also participating, you know, getting the records and all that, because I feel people like the record. People are beginning to understand what I've been trying to say about Ed music, you know. So it's a win for me, and we also very outstanding and productive from reviews like we had in the UK, we had from Financial in the US, we had from Quest France, you know, one of the biggest newspaper in France. I can't mention. We had Mojo as well, Mojo magazine, songs like we had. So it's been a huge success, most especially France and in the UK actually. Yeah.
I'm really, really, really happy. I'm really happy because you don't have to go through what most of the people who've been before you go through. Because I remember back then there was no social media or the internet where if your music is being stopped because the kind of music you play, the illiterate would say it's an activist music. But to us who know good music knows this is pure African jazz, pure to the bone. Every instrument is pure African. So, and your recording are always done live, those old way. Because these days I see a lot of people pay huge amount for vintage stuff. And what gives me the highest joy is to know at this modern days of the internet, somebody like you still choose this line of music. I'm born into classic music. That's why when I listen to when I'm introducing music to some people, they look at me, huh, are you not the one that just played in my party? Everybody was dancing. How come you're telling me you're listening to such a music? I tell them, I was playing for you, but now I'm listening music for myself. And this is how I could express my thought, my thinking to myself by keeping quiet and listening to good music. So how do you calm yourself down? Because I know you have to be very, very sensitive, hyper, to be able to control such a tone you're bringing out. How do you control it?
Well, I tend to, I think, very restless, because I'm always practicing. So my life is centered around music. So I think for me, when it's time to relax, sometimes I let go of it. I go on a vacation most times. I get to rest and I listen to myself more in terms of not even the music actually. I kind of have this. I meditate actually a lot. I meditate. I listen to my most. I tend to like know when to start reinventing myself. You know. And sometimes I listen to a lot of classical music, like that of Bach, Mozart, just to go off as well. That really
There is somebody in Berlin here. He used to be the dirigent from the Philharmonica here in Berlin. The son is one of the best producer we have here. It's not just one of the best, it's among the top five. He goes by the name Solario. He, he was born into a classic family where eat, drink, live with Mozart and top Amadeus and co. But I'm happy he now produce Afrobeats. He now produce a lot of other modern music. So I'm happy. I definitely will introduce both of you together because, and also we have Chris Cab, people that are born into classic music and transferring it to other genres of music, but still remember their roots of music. You understand? So we will say, you said we will be expecting you soon.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked, are you from Port Harcourt?
I'm from Akwa Ibom.
Akwa Ibom.
Akwa Ibom. Yeah.
Mr. Samuel Tom, you just heard, is from Akwa Ibom. And somebody asked, is today really your birthday? Yes, today is his birthday. I'll answer that one.
Oh, birthday is yesterday. Forgot.
Yesterday.
You chop fine. I'll find you.
I'll pay. I'll pay. Anyway, sir, I'm used to paying that kind of fine. I'm used to, even my wife knows I forgot my birthday. I'll pay fine.
My birthday is yesterday. I was born
Yeah.
1992. June 25th, 9.
It's great. It's great. It's great. Well, I would say the best is still to come. And I know you're playing. I just don't know which of your track I would choose. And I try to find fault in you. You understand? I try to find, but I can't find any. Really. You know, I'm a critical of music because I love it. And I don't want anybody to destroy it. And most especially where we've taken Afrobeat too. And from Afrobeat, we've been able to cast out Afrobeats. And from that Afrobeats, we've been able to cast out trap, hip hop, ibile, and whatever. So I'm happy that we still have the younger generation looking and stepping into the footsteps of Fela Kuti, Mike Davis, Hugh Masekela. I really don't. So I try like look for something to criticize in music when it comes to that stage, but I can't find how you do it.
Well, for me, I think I just like tend to like from a situation where we have experienced different genre of music, different bands. They just took the light now. You see, Nigeria is fucked up. But anyways, let me get...
No, we're used to that one. We're used to that one. If I want to know 10 Nigerians are in the train with me, I just put up the light of the train and I would know the Nigerians in there. You know, it start to happen now that if in Nigeria, if we have lights 24 hours, it has come to the stage that I would think it's a jackpot. But it's all right to have lights every day. So it's one funny thing.
My first time in London, when I experienced, you know, like the regular power supply, the uninterrupted one, at some point I started saying, once we take the light, I don't need this light again. My phones are charged. So you can imagine what Nigerian does to you, or Africa actually, where they start taking lights and all this kind of things that, you know, becomes part of us unconsciously, you know, which is really wrong, you see. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm sure everybody can see me now.
Let's leave it for them. Let's leave it for them because sometimes some of my friends who knew me back in school then asked me, Baba, you are no more an activist like before. I asked them one question. What do I want to say that has not been said before? Fela spent, let's say, 99% of his life saying these things that you want me to go and say. Femi Kuti said the same thing. Sheun Kuti said the same thing. The last time I was watching Professor Lumumba, he said it loud and clear, and he was even saying it in front of some of the African leaders. That was why I give good kudos to him. You see, there is nothing to say again. We have everything to be developed to be in the modern standard. But one thing is missing in Africa, which is light, electricity. Electricity and light is the modern development. You can't build anything without light or preserve anything without it. So if they are still wicked in us, that's why people ask me, why are you not posting Black Lives Matter? I said, what we blacks are doing to ourselves is worse. Because if a white man will lynch me, I won't get sad. But if a black man would lynch me, I would cry because I was being lynched by my brother. So that's just it. So let's just continue with this. Everything about your music is classical, man. Classical.
I appreciate.
I'm really glad I got to know you before they take you away from us. Because I know that they will take you away from us. Because I definitely know that.
Purely, I'm fully African, man.
I know. you know, just few was they couldn't take. They couldn't take. They tried to take Femi Kuti away from us, but they could not. They tried. Shehu Kuti, they won't even dare, because he tells them it's mine. So
Yeah,
I'm glad nobody's taking you away from us. You know, you as a musician, you know what I mean by them taking you away from us, because they are used to it. Because I see somebody I was looking up to earlier that, oh, this is the Messiah that would take African music to somewhere.
yeah.
I've been listening to some of his music lately. I saw, oh, the money is there now. They're changing him to what they want to hear, not what he's meant to preach for us. I know people of your caliber is going to be hard. It's going to be hard because you have a huge family behind you, a huge one. So I'll go back again to your album. Like a fan said, this one, we have to talk about it. It's called Battle for Peace.
Okay. Well, so Battle for Peace for me, it's I think one of the first of its kind when I started writing the conscious music, and you know, like I often say, and I think everybody knows actually, that the world isn't smiling right now. So I think the people of the world are actually distracted. You know, we know these things. We know that the world is meant to be a beautiful place for us to stay, you know, and to live, you know. But unfortunately, the world is distracted. The people of the world is distracted from the brighter significance of life. And until we start to embrace and understand that significance of life, then we probably might be on that path of achieving that dream future or that dream world we want to live in. You see, so I don't know if we can have a world of you know, a world free of corruption. We can have a world that doesn't really segregate. We can have a world that doesn't discriminate as well. We can have a world that, you know, let's say the people of Africa, you know, now the blacks will treat the blacks right. You know, the black won't lynch the black. The black won't corrupt the black, actually, you see. So because I state my facts with history, actually. Going back to the history of Africa, Africa used to be a place where it's so pure, it's so
natural.
clean and natural that, you know, when I talk about religion, then about Africa being a very religious place as well and a very spiritual place, you know, take for instance, then when people die, you see, they pray to God or to the God of the land to say, we don't want this kind of things to befall us again. You see, when you're thinking with your friends, whether at a shebeen or a pub or something like that, you see, we pour the drink on the floor. That's like giving thanks or gratitude to the gods as well. You see, so we involve the Creator in everything that we do. You know, that should have evolved to a point where it's beautiful now. We don't even know what it looks like. Everything about our tradition, you know, reflects, you know, they say it's fetish, they say it's diabolical now, you see? So, which is
To them, because the reason why most of them are like that is because history is not being taught.
Exactly.
When history is not being taught, you forgot about your tradition, your culture. And when you forget about those two things, you're lost. It's one thing most people doesn't know. Because
So,
I got to like understand from my dad that if you forgot your history and your tradition, you have no story to tell. And really, you have no story to tell. I didn't understand it then, but I believe now that I'm in my early 50s, I try to understand it now. You can't tell your story without your history or your culture.
That's right. That's right.
So we have Black Lion. Black Lion said you're the man that took over London with just a bass, guitar, and your trumpet. Tell us about that, because Black Lion is a recording artist, is a producer, a movie director. I think he's having one of a legend movie coming out of Berlin. I think he has to contact you because he was saying something about the soundtrack stuff. He has to contact you because that movie is going to be dope. It's going to be the first black movie that tells the story about nearly every superstar German rapper that has come out of Berlin.
Oh, that's
so
cool. That's cool.
So how did you do that? How did you take London with just a bass guitar and your trumpet?
Well, I really don't know where that is coming from, but I think I've been very consistent with everything I do. I don't have any other job than music, you know. So everything worth doing is worth doing well, you know. So I tend to like make sure I fuck it up as much as I can wherever, you know. So I'm always prepared. I'm always practicing. I practice for hours, you know. So I still practice, you know. I still prepare myself for all of these opportunities and all of this greatness that comes. So the London story, I think my first time in London was through the British Council at the Roundhouse. So we did a show with Jamie Cullum. So I went through the influence of Tunde Jagede, a Nigerian British choral player, who was the artistic director of Muzon Center, then the Muzon School of Music in Lagos then.
In Lagos, in Ikoyi.
I was studying on a scholarship from MT and then study classical music just before I went to South Africa then. So we went to London on that project. I think it was also more like a cultural exchange. So the British Council sent, I think, 3 delegates to come, you know, teach and, you know, run the program here. So at the concert here in Lagos, so they happened to play my composition, one of my compositions there. I think they liked it. And so I had the relationship with the delegates, you know, who came to represent the British Council from London. So we went there and it was a very beautiful concert. That was my first time of playing, you know, with a crowd, like thousands of people being around at the Roundhouse. So since then, I developed a relationship with a lot of musicians there from, you know, the bands like Kokoroko, bands like Extra Collective, you know, Shabaka, Ochlane, a whole lot of, you know, the UK jazz scene, actually. So I started touring by myself in London, I think 2017 or 2016. The first time I was there was 2015 with the concert for Jamie Cullum. So I think I started touring again 2016, 2017. That's when I started doing my own gigs. Then, so it was practically me playing at the pub. And then all you just earn then is just maybe £10, £20, you know, but it wasn't all about the money. You know, it wasn't all about the money for me. Those were more like, even I see those things were like investment. So you sow and then you reap later. Now I play with a capacity of thousands of people and hundreds of people, you know. So yeah, last year I did a gig at the Royal Albert Hall for the London Jazz Festival. Also with BBC, which was aired live on BBC Radio 3. Yeah, I think, yeah, I remember that particular gig this guy is talking about, the one with Sofa Sound. Sofa, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was beautiful. One of my compositions from the album Tales of Life, which I wrote for just the trumpet and the bass. It sounds really great. I love it. Drawing Room, it's called Drawing Room.
It's classical. So, because since the time I've tried to introduce your music to them, I just need to play one. Anywhere I am, I just need to play one, and then I go back there the next days. They're telling me, now I introduce them to your sound. They are not telling me now about your own music. That's the great thing about, it's like I got a music from somebody last weekend. And the music was dope. The song was dope. It's something culture. It's something I can say. You want to listen to African music? This is what most people doesn't know about us when we promote African music. Because sometimes we got a lot of music being sent to us. We sit down, we have a listening, we call it Sound and Beauty over here in Berlin, a listening saloon where everybody that sits around is into music. It's either it's a producer, and we just, feel free listening to music. So I kind of like, this is how I rate my artists. I know I'm in midst of juniors, I just throw it down without measuring them. The next thing I see, everybody goes to the speaker with their phone to know who it is, because some of them are ashamed to ask the name of the artist. So because so everybody go click it out, get the artist name and start talking about it. If you're not good, this group of people wouldn't do that. Because I know this group of people are genius. They are 5 minutes. I know what their 5 minutes worth in the studio, not to talk of listening, because it's the only way I could get them sit and work with me for free, was to create a sound listening bar. You understand me? So since yesterday, the turn up from there is, when are you coming to Germany? When are you coming to Germany?
I'm coming very soon.
Very soon, after the pandemic, very soon. Berlin, get ready for this one. I think we would ship that birthday from that yesterday to when you're in Berlin, because I've got my blood brother, somebody who has always been supporting me, a founding member of Kings and Friends. He just promised that we're going to do the same thing we do with our legend from Africa. It's right here in Berlin. He goes by the name Star Bros. I know he's also there. I've got Dr. Fatoki, the president of the Yoruba community. I see a lot of people from the Nigerian embassy here in Germany. And the good news about African music in Germany is that we're lucky this time around. We have an ambassador that knows what time is it. We are happy this period of time that we will have an ambassador who is interested in culture.
That's beautiful.
And the first time we ever have Nigerian Culture Day was his tenure. You understand? And we decided not to be biased in our judgment. When a diplomat or any government official is doing something really, really important to the community, we have to say it. Because if they are doing something bad, we also say it as an activist. It's doing a lot to the Nigerian community over here. You can't please everybody.
That's right.
But the first time you would write something on the internet about Nigerian embassy, that an ambassador would reply back to you. You're even laughing.
Yeah.
So you're surprised. So there was a time they came with the BVN stuff and they were requesting for money. We wrote on the internet, and he replied instantly and told those people that whatever the Nigerians that are living in diaspora does not accept, I won't accept it. I know you were sent by CBN, but the Nigerians in diaspora did not accept it. So I don't accept it. I'm serving these people over here. I'm not serving the people in Nigeria. That's the first time an ambassador knows his job. He doesn't wait for order from Abuja when it comes about art, entertainment, and the security of the citizen. I believe we've recommended this year, if it's possible, because I believe every festival is being cancelled, and everybody's doubting. You need to be on the headline of Nigerian Culture Festival. We would apply anything. If it doesn't happen this year, it must happen next year.
Beautiful. We
really need people like you that showcase our culture. Not just Nigerian culture, African culture generally. Because it's just what we have to do, because fighting Black Lives Matter without unity, for me, is still a waste. We still
Agree.
all have to come together. That's why we're not putting anything at the forefront. I would only protest for us to be united. I wouldn't protest for Black lives to be matter, because in us, every Black man we knows, our life matters. I know some people might get me wrong now, but for me, it's how do we come together? Because once we are together, everybody's going to be scared of us. We're not yet together, they're scared.
That's right. That's right.
So for me, it's how we come together. We don't need to be enemy. Sometimes we have grudges. We trash each other privately. So we go back to your music now. So which is your favorite among all your projects?
Oh man, to be honest, I don't have a favorite, man. I love all the music because they all signify different things, and these are like needs. You know, like I said, you can't. I think they all make up what it is. You know, the previous one makes up the next one. The new project makes up the next coming project. You know. So it's like I said, you know, I see it as a form of education, and you can't skip a particular subject, you know, for one, because there's a scheme of work already. There's a syllabus you need to work with. So you just need to love everything because they all are functioning and very functional as well. So I really don't have a favorite actually. But
We would say over there, good decision from a wise man. But for me, really, anytime I try to say, oh, I like this one, and I play the next one, wow, I go like that. Wow. Understand? Just this decade now, just Shehu Kuti and Femi Kuti have been able to take me to that stage. Wow. But until I got to meet you, it's wow. Wow. Well, it's nice having you, and we pray you stay in touch with us. I know you're a busy man, but once in a while, we would always do that. We write you. We've got our house DJ here. We got DJ Squad saying big shout out. It's in the studio trying to set things up. Is saying big shout out. And we have Black Lion saying big shout out, great music. We've got Rapturous Apollo saying big shout out. We've got Chris Cab all the way from Ireland saying big shout out. We've got Jay Yellow. Jay Yellow is my nephew. He's doing a great job. I think not just because he's my nephew, he's taking over Irish music generally.
That's nice.
In the rap shit, he just launched his own record label. It's also shout out from him. And shout out from all Kings and Friends member. Shout out from Golden Luke Barbing Saloon, Berlin. It's one of the beautiful places when you come around. We see Flaky Empire online with us. Big shout out. One of our people who publicize your coming to our show. And a lot of others. So we are glad you came to the show today. We shouldn't take much of your time. I promise you,
I'm so
every week
and
we must play.
like,
say it. I'm listening.
Yeah, so I said I'm humbled and to be on the show. You know,
I need to tell this one last story now. You know, because of what you said, humble, honest would open any door, most especially humbleness would open any door. Because I was doing Femi Kuti's birthday and I was dedicating that last week for Femi Kuti. And then a lot of people started jumping in, started jumping in. So, and you tried to jump in. It was not clear. We couldn't talk. We cut it out. And then after the show, you reached out that, you know, an artist of your level, the ones I know won't do that. They feel too big and whatever. And it's an advice. Please don't change your way.
Thank you.
It will open a lot of doors.
Thank you.
Your humbleness, for me, you're a superstar. Your humbleness, as I just have to tell some people I was supposed to receive today that, can we do it next week? I just need to do this.
Oh,
It helped a lot. And please, I would love you to leave some piece of advice for those under you and for those even on top of you as an artist.
I think basically it's always rough. It's never smooth. But once you don't stop, you know, the end result. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. A friend of mine from Sada, you know, she called me on the phone and she was telling me, ETUK, you need to always ask yourself why. Why? When you pick up the trumpet, you ask yourself, why do you want to practice? Why are you playing the trumpet? You know, when you want to write your music, why are you writing this music? You need to have an intention, you know. You need to have an intention because the world, you need to understand that the creation of human comes with a purpose, you know. So you need to understand, what is my own purpose? What am I adding to support and to add to the development and growth of the human race, you know. If the human race is too large for you, you know, think about your community, you know. Think about adding something, think about adding value, think about that. Then you understand this is the value you want to add, you know. You can't just be on this earth without not adding any value. The cloth we made the cloth, you know, the trumpet I use, people made the trumpet, the device we use, the phone, you know, these are people's thinking, these are people's knowledge, you know. So you need to find your own code, you need to find your own knowledge to add up to something. The car we drive, you know, everybody created it. So we need to add. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're inventing something. Be a form of you supporting someone, you helping someone's career, you just add up however. Then that way you can understand, this is the reason I want to make music, this is the reason I'm a musician. And then what am I to advise the people there? I can't advise them, I'm looking up to them.
Sometimes, you know, Yoruba say, elders know, the young generation, the elders that know, the elders that are wise know, sometimes take advice from us.
Well, this is what I do. This is what I do. I take them as case studies, them out closely, like, you know, okay, this is what I did. Sometimes ago, I used Femi Kuti as a case study, regardless of the fact about 2 years at the shrine. So I know organization is all about in and out. You see, but I was just born in 1992. It has been around for close to 60 years now, even before I was born. You see, and it's been great. You know, there are people like Sonny Ade, you know. So I take these people as case study. I check out their flaws. I check out their mistakes. I check out journalism. I check out everything about them. And I just try to use that to build myself up, you know. So if you are taking a Femi Kuti or a Sonny Ade 10 years, you know, to break out in the European scene or in the global scene, it shouldn't take me about 2 years or 3 years, because remember, like you said, the world evolves, everything evolves. There's technology, there's different things now, you know. So I just capitalize on that, and I just make use of the opportunity that we still have, like the living legends, you know, you can learn from. So I still can't advise the elderly ones. No, I won't. But yeah, I think there's something. Okay, I'm going to say this. You know, before Victor Laya died, you see, I was always talking about the need for the legends to to pass on the chain. So you look at the why. I think one of the reasons why the live music in Nigeria is suffering right now, or isn't where it's meant to be. Thank God for Fela and thank God for Afrobeat. But before that, there used to be a lot of there used to be a beautiful live night in Lagos, nightlife in Lagos, where you have clubs playing at night. You go into this club, you see Bobby Benson. You go into this club, you see Sonny Ade at the club as well. You see, no, until I read Tony Allen's autobiography. You see the book, because a lot of books actually. So they had their clubs. After this war, people were scared to go out at night. Most of the clubs started closing down, the businesses started closing down. But that aside, the musicians now died, you know. Some from, you know, heavy drinking of liquor and all that, they died. But they didn't pass it on. There was no successor. You see, Okonta died, Zilonia died. Those were one of the greatest trumpet players played as the band leaders. Now, let's say the iLive is gone, actually, like the iLive legend, actually. You know, I don't think we have any form of iLive musicians like that, you know, like we have that of the Afrobeat lineage, you know. Fela is gone. Before Fela died, Afrobeat became global and institutionalized, whereby the whole band were bettered off Afrobeat, actually. It's an organization now. There's still Femi Kuti. Seun Kuti. I think Femi's son, Made, is coming up as well.
Whoa, that's my boy. That's my bro. That's my boy, man. Everybody should watch out for that boy. Everybody should watch out for that boy. That is guy. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You know, he gives some instrument that takes me to a different level. Saxophone, trumpet, bass.
Yeah. So
and
you see
that
so that's like a lineage, a good one. Victor Laya died. I wish Victor Laya had given out those education, actually. You know, it would have been a beautiful thing for the University of Lagos to have Victor Laya come share his experiences, give a masterclass or a workshop, you know, to people, to the students. They should know about iLive music, about the Nigerian iLive music, which is totally different from the Ghanaian iLive music. You see, they should know about these things. They should know how the collaboration went between Victor Olaya and E.T. Mensah. They should know what Bobby Benson sounded like, because Bobby Benson was more like the superstar, like the boss himself then. You see, they should know all of these things. They should have this education, but he died. But maybe thank God for people, like, you know, Fela played in Victor Laya's band. Peter King played in Victor Laya's band. Peter King College of Music still exists, but Peter King is sick now. He has stroke. You see, I don't know if you can teach or if you can say stuff about that, the education to pass it on. So the only people we have, or the only person we have right now to pass it on, I think people, I'll say people, because Femi Kuti played in Fela's band, Seun also played in Fela's band as well. So if the institutions here in Nigeria can have these people from time to time, just like Juilliard will have a Wynton Marsalis come give workshops or masterclass in Juilliard and Manhattan School of Music and all that, Berklee College of Music, just name it, how they do over there in America or the UK. If we can have the likes of Femi Kuti, Seun Kuti, and other great people who have experienced the legend or who experience different legends and different history or different era of music, come pass on this knowledge, I think it's going to make a very, very huge difference and a very great impact in our society today.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why I respect Two-Face Idibia, because I saw what he's doing with what he did with Victor Olaya, and what he also did with Sir Victor Waifu by bringing him to the modern record level, to a hypertech. You know, sometimes you do some things, you don't even know you've done a good thing.
That's right.
But people who really has the same dream like you sees it, and they are glad somebody did it. So I have not heard from this young generation somebody saying something like this. I know it's only when I talk to the legend that I always come out with such a place of where to leave that legacy for the younger generation. You're a young man, you're already fighting for how we're going to leave it for another generation. That is how this history about African music and our lineage music, which is this, like what you're creating now, X music.
Yeah.
You understand me? So that we need to pass it on to the next generation. You got a privilege, it was passed to you, and you've not even got to the peak of your career. You're already planning it, how to drop it also for somebody else, because you don't take it to heaven. You understand? And you just have to leave it somewhere. And I'm happy Fela has been able to pass it to Sheung, Femi Kuti, and they have been able. What people doesn't know, Fela did not just pass it to Sheung and Femi. He passed it to a lot of Western musicians.
Yeah.
A lot of Western musicians. I have somebody who gave me my first location to ever promote a show here in Europe. Told me Fela taught him how to play bass. I was looking at myself. Oh, Fela doesn't play guitar. He said Fela was the one who said in 1978 after the tour here and said, Mr. Kolobu gave him that bass and said, by the time I come back to Berlin again, I want you to be able to play these bass. For him, it was like James Brown gave him a job to do.
Yeah, that's right.
So he had nothing to do, but today is one of those legends of bass guitar in Europe, and he goes around the world. You know what it means. So he everly give thanks to Fela. I think he's about 82 years old now, but whenever you play Fela, you see that joy in his face. And the next thing he will tell you, he's a German, the next thing he will tell you, Ome Kolemi. That's the only Yoruba you understand. Ome Kolemi. You understand? So I'm glad you came to the show. It's a pleasure. And we wish anytime we call on you, you be there. I know you'll be there because you're a humble human being.
I will.
So we're going to let the fans enjoy this one. Please, ladies and gentlemen, go on Spotify, because we always force our fans to go on Spotify, because that's where you can also benefit from it. Go on Spotify and go on YouTube. Go play this one. It's called African Today, from our brother, the jazz master himself, ETUK I think we've got to the stage. We just finished talking to ETUK Ubong here, right here, live from Berlin. We've got to the stage. We just pick one fans. We talk to them. One fan, one lucky fan. And I think we've got a winner. We will be announcing the winner back soon. The Berliner winner is... Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ogbeche, you just won yourself a Leica card, and I think we'll be going offline soon. Hello, where are you calling from, Master?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria.